Springbok squad for the Rugby Championship 2024, folks, has been announced by head coach Rassie Erasmus. It's a 33-man squad. The injury list is long, but the squad itself features a number of those guys, those newcomers who we've seen kind of blooded against particularly the teams like Wales and against Portugal in the kind of July matches. But yeah, we'll talk about the kind of ins and outs of the squads, the fixtures list, what do you guys think the expectations are, and yeah, we'll go from there. But I mean, the injury list, the officially announced one: Faf de Klerk, Jaden Hendrickse, Edwil van der Merwe, Kanan Moody, and Damian Willemse. That's a whole bunch of guys, including some World Cup winners there who are unavailable for selection in the backs. And then Stephen Kitsoff, who I had read on one report was close to being available, but is on the injury announced unavailable list. Lut Diacha and Franco Mostert. So yeah, there's a lot of depth missing in terms of those veterans and a couple of the kind of breakthrough players as well. But you'd still be happy with the squad. I think it's a pretty strong looking squad. The biggest omission from guys who've kind of recently been in the squad, who've been clocking up a few caps, has to be Ivan Rus, I think. I had a look at his stats because he played a couple of games this July. He played against Wales and he played against Portugal. His numbers were fine without being exceptional. Like, he clocked through the run meters, that's for sure. But South Africa playing against that Wales side, getting the result they got, should be doing that. And likewise against Portugal. He busted a few tackles. Didn't make a heck of a lot of passes. Don't think he passed. Was it against Wales? Didn't pass once. He passed a few times in the other game. Coughed up a few balls. But they had a lot of carries. Busy around the park. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe not exceptional enough. I haven't seen any kind of interview with Rassie just yet to kind of clarify where that selection call came from. Remember, Kwaka has been getting a lot of game time at number 8, so it's potentially they see him there in that role. And then also Elric Lowe is in the squad as well, so he's another guy who can certainly play number 8 if they want him to. Remembering that Jasper Visa is still serving a suspension, so he is not in the squad. The one addition to the squad who wasn't in the team for the July series is Ranokia, so adding a bit of depth at lock, I guess. If you're missing Franco Mostert from the squad, who was in the July squad, who's dropped out with injury, you need to replace him with a big bit of tall timber. Ranokia is a pretty good guy to have, and he seems to be a bit of divisive figure. I don't know, Bulls guys love him, and other people don't see the appeal. I don't know, I think he's a good player. But yeah, I'm very pleased for a few of these guys, in particular in the forwards. I'm very pleased for Ben Jason Dixon, because I think he looks the business. I know a lot of the excitement kind of gets directed towards a lot of the backs, the kind of flashier players. But Ben Jason Dixon, I think, looks the business. I am very chuffed for one of the kind of more veteran guys in Thomas Tutoy. He seems to have been having a pretty good season, so I'm pleased to see him retain his spot in the Springbok squad with that. And Gerhard Steenkamp, I think, is also at 27. He's only just kind of coming into the peak of his powers in the front row as well. Backs-wise, I'm obviously pleased for Sasha Feinberg and Komazulu. I am trying to kind of temper my excitement in terms of, I mean, he's played 4 games at international level and he's looked class. So I'm very, very excited about how he could go and what his potential could be. But likewise, 4 games and a lot of them from the bench is still a relatively short period of time. So I'm optimistic about how he's going to go. But certainly there's been plenty of players in the past who we've gotten very excited about. And it maybe hasn't panned out for them. It could be injuries. I mean, Pat Lambie is the obvious one. I was always rooting for that guy. But jeepers, that guy just seemed to have the most rotten luck. If he'd had a bit more luck on his side, what kind of career could that guy have had? Also, Morne van der Berg. Pretty pleased for him because I like the way he keeps the ball moving for the Lions. He's a real kind of excitement machine guy. I would love to see him and Grant Williams. I think Cobus Reinach is going to be there just in terms of his experience, but imagine Van der Berg and Grant Williams starting at one of them's 9 and one of them's on the bench. That's an attacking-minded couple of halfbacks. Yeah, they've still got the veterans there. LaRue is still there. Mapimpi is still there. Colby is still there. He's a veteran at this point, isn't he? Even though he's only played 30-odd games. He's not like one of the 50 100 cap guys, but he's certainly been pretty much there under Rassie's entire tenure. Damon Delinde is still there. Lucanio I'll be pleased to see what he can do back in Springbok goal. We saw it a bit against Portugal, but, you know, Rugby Championship certainly a different kettle of fish. But, yeah, I think you'd have to be pretty happy with the squad, given the injury list. I mean, apart from Evan Roos, Pepsi Buthelezi, he'll be a bit disappointed. But the loose forwards is just really such a kind of competitive area, isn't it? And then Q and Horn as well. But again, if you put in Q and Horn, who do you drop out? Because LaRue, despite his kind of seniority at 34, he's close to 100 caps, so they'll want to get him to 100. And LaRue just adds that extra bit of playmaking nous, doesn't he? He pulls the strings really well, as much as Q and Horn is a kind of real excitement machine. Guy in the outside backs, and then Fussie's look really comfortable in the game time he's had this year as well. So you guys have got some depth. Fixtures list. Oh, I should have mentioned Andre Esterhuizen with that red card, obviously not on the list as well. Fixtures list, I think, is pretty favourable because you got 2 games against Australia in Brisbane and in Perth. Remember, especially in Perth, there's a lot of South Africans. Brisbane, there's a lot of Kiwis. So, but yeah, the Aussies' record in Brisbane's pretty good. But Perth, I think in particular, will be kind of a home away from home. And remember, Joe Schmidt's still building that Aussie team. They've gone 3 from 3 under Joe Schmidt, but they are still at a very different place from where Rassie has the Springboks at the moment. Rassie's still having to go through kind of a rebuild of his own as he eases some of the young guys in. But Joe Schmidt's literally picking this team up from the floor. So a very, very different position. And then your 2 games against New Zealand are both in South Africa. So Ellis Park and then Cape Town. Yeah, that's a favourable draw compared to playing 2 games against New Zealand away and then Argentina away and then home. I feel like if you're going to get... Because remember, New Zealand are on a 4-year winning streak with the Rugby Championship. If you're going to break that streak, this is probably the year to get it done. New Zealand at home, Australia on the rebuild, and you've still got these veterans in the Springbok squad to kind of hold the hands, to guide, to teach these youngsters who are coming through. I think it's the year, but who knows, man. Rugby Championship, as I said, has been dominated by the All Blacks in recent years. You guys let us know your thoughts on the squad. Who are you particularly disappointed for? Malcolm Marx, I forgot to mention Malcolm Marx. The fact that he's in the squad and Peter Steff, after being under such injury clouds not that long ago, is a great bit of news. That is a big bolstering for the Boks in terms of, just having guys like World Cup winning elite players in the squad. I think also adds a lot. If the squad's without both of those guys, it doesn't quite look as good as it does with them. So, yeah. You guys let us know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.